Kristu Jayanti College, Economists, Bangalore, I extend a warm welcome to all the participants. Today promises another engaging session on advanced topics in structural equation modeling with AMOS. And we are privileged to have Dr. Ankit Saxena, our esteemed resource person. On behalf of the entire Kristu Jayanti family, I extend a heartfelt welcome to you, sir. I now request Dr. Ankit to take over the session.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. So let us. Iba ma'am, can you give me that co-host right to share my screen? So today, thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. So today we'll be, moving towards. We have discussed about the other things. Yesterday we had some hiccup in that issue, so I got that fixed in the morning. So I'll be explaining that part, and then we'll move on to the modulation and mediation analysis that we can do. Plugins we have understood, and one more thing that is very important to understand. If you're working on 24, 25 AMOS, so then the plugins have certain issues in the programming, so that I'll also explain you before moving to the moderation and mediation analysis. And we'll run the things over there. One more thing, in the, after the session, I got a mail regarding the query about formatting of the model that we are making. So that way, that also I'll explain first, and then we'll move on to the further analysis. So right now, what I'm showing you is one model that we were working on. So it is a model related to the investor sentiments we were working on, and we had the data file collected for that. The responses are there. So the question that I received, after the session was regarding the formatting of this diagram, that how can we, because the participant who mailed me that query was facing certain issues in terms of increasing or maintaining the sizes of the boxes and other things like that. So that's what we'll understand right now here. So very first thing is we have drawn the model. This is a formatted model. But if you wish to play on the model, so the quick thing that you should keep in mind for the formatting part. Let's say if you want to adjust these two factors format simultaneously. So what you must do, the very first thing is you will click on the single select option here. You select the first construct. Once you select, it will be highlighted as blue. Then you select the second construct. It is also highlighted as blue. Now, whatever you'll do, we'll be working on both the things. So let's do some things over here. Let's say I want to reshape these rectangles, the observed variable. So I'll click on this, change shape option. So I'll click here and I'll just change the shape. So what I'll do, will be applicable on everything. So definitely it's not looking good because here the information that was there is now not visible properly. So what we will do, we'll just click on the boxes like this and we can stretch it to the length we want. So let's say we are doing this way. So the advantage of doing this option like that is you don't need to select individual observed variable like that. You can select only the construct, and all the related observed variable to that particular construct latent variable, will definitely be formatted at single click. Another thing, like if you want to, sometime, what happens by default, diagram makes error terms like that. So we are not able to read the error term numbers and other things. So what you can do is, because we have already selected, these numbers over here, let me say that I want to format the error term of sentiments also. So what I can do, I go to the select option once again, and also select this latent variable. So now all three latent variable of this model are selected. So now what happens here, if you will, go on the resize option again, and you just, play with the size, and you see whatever size, whatever shape we are offering to that particular error term is actually uniformly, being applied to all the things. Now, the one problem that I feel here, that arrow signs are not properly being visible. So I want to, move this other term slightly on the left. So what I'll use that move object function. And because all three, are selected, so all three, latent variable, the points will be working like that. Now, what I feel like that in first, other latent variable, the gap between the observed variable is okay, but here there's no visible gap, between the observed variable. So there's also one option that we can use. I'm deselecting everything. I'll select only this perceived sentiment where I wish to increase that gap among the observed variable. So I've selected only that particular latent variable. And now let us use the move object function. And I'll just click on one of the thing and I'll just, see what kind of gap I am looking for between these objects. So this is how it works. If I wish to drag this sentiment slightly lower down, I can do that. So the important thing is while formatting, I hope that serves the query that I received, after the session. So while formatting, you can use this particular option that helps you to format that thing better. And then definitely once you're done with everything, you can slightly, click on this touch up thing and, minor deviations of the arrow signs here and there will be fixed by this. Important part was that while doing all this, we have this, option clicked. So whatever you click here, gets in some blue shade. So that has to be clicked for a while. So this is one thing. Yeah, this is the beginning only right now. We have just begun, and today we'll be taking up your query, Gita Saranya, that moderation analysis that you have been asking from day one. So today we'll be taking up that particular query itself with the data set that has been shared, earlier yesterday. Diksha, what do you want me to explain again? Can you just specify your query once like that? Why in this model covariances are linked to constructs, not items? As of now, this is a model in working, sir. So we are working on this model. So this is something that we are, just developing. It's not a final model. So do not go on that technical intricacies. I just wanted to explain the formatting part here. So Diksha, you have just joined, but I just explained the concept of formatting a diagram because I received one query in my mailbox yesterday about the formatting. So just a quick, if you want a quick recap. So if you want to format the things over here, so what you can do, you can click on the latent variable. That's what I'm telling you. You can click on the latent variable. It is selected. Now this is also selected. So whatever formatting changes you'll make, will be applicable on the all constructs, all observed variable on that thing. So what you will do if you just click on, let's say, resizing the observed variable. So you click on the resizing observed variable, it will be applicable on all the things. So idea is you should just click on the latent variable and then resize the things like that. Whatever you wish, like you wish to overlap, you wish to make sure that some gap is there, and you wish to cover that whatever is written must come into this format. So that is all going to be working like this. If you wish to increase the other term size like that, you can do that. So what we have done, we have selected two latent variable and then we are able to play with the formatting part. We can even increase or decrease the distance, from the observed variable like that. If you wish to sort of move that variable, you can do that. So if you wish to drag it like that and that, so that will be done. So once you select one particular latent variable and you just click on the preserve symmetries, and then you can play with the formatting of the observed variable, other variables. So these are all things you can do. This was query number one. The second thing that is important if you are working, because I upgraded my system to AMOS 24, since today morning. So one thing that we spotted, is going to be an issue while adding plugins in 24 version. So that's what I'm telling you. Let me just show you what issue we got. And if you're very sensitive about your information and the things and other things, and you don't rely on any third-party apps in your laptop, so don't do that. No one is saying it is mandatory to do. So you are free to not to do anything. So that is a point. The point is the moment you will download this folder, I'll just I've downloaded this folder and I'm extracting this first step, from that Cascade Wikipedia page. I downloaded all this and I'm extracting these folders. As of now, I've already copied and pasted in the required folder these plugins. So my plugins are working well. But there was an issue with the plugin, and that explanation is there on that page itself. But they have not mentioned one step. That's what I'm telling you. So the moment you will be extracting these plugins for AMOS version 24 and above, and because 24 version is having a lot many plugins, these plugins are there. So it is far more than that we see in the normal 23 or less than 23 versions. So I just thought to have this update. So the moment you will be, dragging and pasting these plugins in your AMOS, the question mark, will be attached to, these plugins. They'll not be working, obviously, and they'll say it is not readable. So what happens here, what you need to do, that there are two steps. First step is you need to click here and you just go to the properties of this. So you can directly do that by pressing Alt plus Enter, or you click like that. So first thing you have to do, you have to unblock this DLL file. So though it is a third-party app, so it is your wish you want to do that or not. So however, I don't see any security threat in doing this because this is being used for academic purpose, but it is your choice. You can do it on some maybe in your college lab system, something like that, if it is convenient to you. So the first thing you have to do, you have to unblock this item going in the properties and general tab. So first of all, you will do that. The first step is unblock that item. And then what you have to do, you have to click here. You please press open with, and then if you don't see these options available, click on the choose another app. And in choose another app, please make sure that you are opening it with the help of AMOS Graphics CLI. If you don't see this icon, then what you will do, one important disclaimer here, you have to press only just once. You don't want to open DLL files with AMOS only. DLL files are the system files which works across the softwares, so don't do that mistake that if you click on the always, all the DLL files, maybe it will start opening with the help of AMOS and your system will not respond to you the way you want. So you have to do it only just once. If you don't see AMOS Graphics CLI there, so then you will go in the choose an app on your PC. So that you will do, and then you have to go to the C folder, click on the program files into 86 folder and click here, and then go to the IBM, and in that you will reach to the AMOS, the version that you're using, and in 24 folder you'll be getting this this one, the AMOS Graphics CLI. So that has to be used to open it. Once you'll open it, it will give you a warning message, and then it will open the AMOS file. So then your plugin will be ready to work. This is something that I learned about version 24 because I was not using version 24 earlier. So this is something that I learned today morning itself. So if you wish to add on these plugins in 24 version, you have to follow this particular step. So I'm just not doing that right now because I've already done it. How can we download plugins, Janvi? You have to reach to the, I've explained this part yesterday, but let me just quickly show you. You'll just go to the Google and you just click here, AMOS plugins. And this will take you to this first page itself. So you can click here. And in this particular page, I showed this page yesterday itself. So that is there, and you can click on the plugins folder. There's a plugin guide which tells you how to install and other things. And if you wish to reach to the plugins folder, you can reach to the plugins folder. And this will take you to a Google Drive link, and you can, according to your version. So 24, 25 right now I'm on. So you can take this version and download all the plugins and then follow the steps that I've explained to you. So this was one important learning that I thought to share. So these two queries were there, which have been answered. Now let us first of all see that model fitness part that we were doing. Thank you, Janvi. We were doing yesterday. Let us quickly do that, and then we'll move to the other things, moderation and mediation analysis. So first thing is we want to, we have the file with us. So yesterday we were working on CFA2. So we'll quickly work on that file. I'll show you the modification indices, which I didn't show you yesterday, and some model fit measures and other things. And the problem that we were facing yesterday was easily solvable. Once you restart the system, it was working well. So during the meeting, I could not do that. So once I finished the meeting and I just restarted my system, everything was working well. So a restart was needed. Probably all the problems have the same solution in our lives. So let us, we were working on the CFA2. This is the file. So CFA2. I'm just opening this file, and we'll be doing moderation analysis first. Once we do that fitness indices part and other things, and then we'll move on to the mediation part. Mediation of and is very similar to path analysis kind of thing. So I'll explain you that mediation part also quickly. So let's say this is the file that we were working on. What we did in the yesterday session also, if you can recall, we just went with the factor analysis. So we go to the analyze, and in analyze you go to the dimension reduction, and then you go to factor. So the moment you click on the factor, it will pop up this window of factor analysis. Select all the variables in your data set, not demographic variable. Another query that I missed to answer yesterday. Someone asked me, should I take demographics variable also? No. Demographic variables are just the demographic profile of the respondent. Ideally, they have nothing to do with the construct that we are measuring. So they can be your moderating variable. They might be your some other classification analysis you want to do, some t-test, ANOVA kind of thing you want to do, or some discriminant analysis you wish to perform. That can be done with the help of those demographic variables. They are not supposed to be part of your factor analysis in general circumstances. So you will click on the Verimix. As I told you, rotated solution will be offered by this. And then I just suppressed the small coefficients, 0.4 that we did yesterday also. And the moment I click OK, we'll get the output of this. So total variance explained table is there, component matrix is there. I'm interested in the rotated component matrix here. So this looks clean, and every 3 set of variable falls in one particular thing. So this is a perfect, ISMA CFA scores, will be good, because we know that B1, B2, B3 are falling together in one, factor, and C1, C2, C3 are falling in together in one factor, and so on. So all 3 set of variables are falling together, perfectly, in different constructs. So it's a perfect, perfectly aligned data for the factor analysis. So CFA will also be nice here. The problem starts when you have overlapping here, that few factors are loading to, more than one factors. And even that is very difficult and clumsy at times to see. So then in that case, it may be an issue here. So I'm not focusing on that issue right now. There are negative loadings, but ultimately, when the squared errors will be taken, so that is not an issue right now. We are not considering that part. So I just wish to formulate the diagram here. So I've just copied it, and moving on to the plugins part here. I want to create here you see a lot of new plugins that I have installed, with the help of that folder now. So you just go on the pattern matrix builder modeler. We need to specify a file first of all. So let us quickly specify the file. So Control D or data file. We have been doing this for 3 days now. So I hope you have built some affinity with this. So CFA2 we are working on. I've just clicked OK. The file is in the model now. Now let us what we wanted to do, draw the model. So we will go to the pattern matrix model builder, and I'll just paste what I copied from the SPSS output of rotated matrix, and I'll create the diagram here. So the moment you create the diagram, this will run and the diagram is created. The error message will pop up, but there's no issue. You can remove that message and move on with the thing. So this diagram is ready for our analysis. So let us see if we go to the plugins here, and okay, this has come. Let's try it. Okay. This plugin issue again occurs, so I have added one addendum in that yesterday's video. So if you wish to go to that video, that the plugin will be working well there. So this might again ask for a restart. That is not possible between the sessions. So that will be a limitation of the problem. But I have added that addendum in yesterday's video. So the video that will be uploaded on the YouTube channel, you can refer to that thing and you will be able to see, how does that work, and the problem if that occurs. So we can, sometime. I'll see if this works well. So I'll just go to the, first of all, what I want to see. I want to see the validity and reliability thing. So master validity, let us quick. Okay, there's error 1 issue. So let me just quickly remove that error. So error 1, E1, because we have variable name E1 as well. So E16, this makes E17. We did that yesterday also. And then let's make it E18. So it's done. Let us try rerun that master validity again. Okay, we need to save this file somewhere. So I'm just saving it with some 777. Let's go with that number. And okay, again, that issue is occurring. We have to restart the system. So the system will be restarted and this will run. So what you can do as of now, I'll not be doing that, so I can't do a restart to the system right now. So you can refer to my yesterday's session link. In that I have added that part where you just click on the plugins and you'll be able to see the summary, reliability and validity thing, and even the model fitness part. So that has been explained in that video. So please, when that video is uploaded, you can refer to that particular part. That will give you that brief understanding. So because it will require a system reboot here. Which option you have selected to copy factor analysis output from the SPSS? In SPSS, we have this rotated component matrix. You just click here, and then you will be going with the in AMOS, and in AMOS you will be going with this pattern matrix builder. What I can show you, I have that video with me. I hope I have that video with me. Give me a time. I'll show you that video itself, so that because I downloaded, I saved that screen recording for that purpose. So I'll just quickly show you so that all of you will get the fair understanding of that. Yeah, so what you can see, this is how this works, and I'll be just playing this video. And the moment you click on the master validity file, and this will run the analysis, and this pops up with this kind of data. So this you can report. So here, what you see, the model validity measures are there. So the validity analysis is there. The construct reliability values are here. So the values are, the three values are more than 0.7, which is fine. At the four, these values are 4 and 5 construct reliability is poor because it is less than 0.7. The good thing about this output is here that it offers you the problem as well as the solution. So it is telling you this is the problem because values are component reliability values are less than 0.7. And it is also giving you a kind of hint here that if you want to improve the CR for 4 component reliability, construct reliability for 4th factor, which is less than 0.7, try removing D3 because D3 is not aligning well with D1 and D2. So that is a problem area. And similarly, if you see for E, so the CR for 5 factor, that is E, is less than 0.7, try to remove C2. So that is C2. So if you remove C2, that may be probably fixing this issue. So the good thing is about this particular issue is that you can see where the problem areas are and how is it going to be improved. Similarly, what is the convergent validity? Convergent validity is all about, I'm asking A1, A2, A3, and I want to measure A. Am I measuring correctly? So are these values properly converging to measure that particular construct? This is what convergent validity tells you. So convergent validity may be established with the help of AVE. If your average variance extracted value is more than 0.5, you can say that my conversion validity is there. How we calculate that, if you know a bit of statistics, then standardized regression weights are taken into the consideration. All the standardized regression factor loadings are squared, divided by, added together for all the constructs, like 3 values are there, 3 of the squared values will be added together, divided by the number. So I'll tell you that thing. Rupa, ma'am, you're asking for one very important thing. I'll answer that in a while. So what we do, we just take the standardized regression weights, we take their squares, we add them for the construct, and all the constructs, some of the squared loading is divided by the number of variables in that particular construct, and that value is known as the average variance extracted. You can calculate it manually, but system is offering you that particular thing. That is, yes, that they are the correlation values over here. Yes. So what we are doing here, that in this case, we are getting AVE value. AVE value, if more than 0.5, it is said that the convergent validity is there. But in 4th, second, 3rd, 4th, 5th, these values are relatively lower. They're not very poor. They're not, pathetic, I'll say, but because like 0.48 is very close to 0.5. So maybe some kind of data cleaning or some data addition might solve the issue. Or dropping, one important question that I've got in the chat box here is Dr. Nirupa is asking that if any of the value is dropped, the model fails, how it can be solved. So normally, the idea is we should be very careful in these, validity issues. Reason being, if your construct is not being measured, with some validity, thing, so the entire analysis that you want to generalize later as a theory will not be making any sense. So we have to ensure that we have the reliability and validity measures in check. And if one of the variable, let's say C2 is not aligning well, it is distorting my construct reliability. So what I'll do, I'll drop that particular variable, citing that it is not probably the question language is something that is, deviating the response from the other line construct variables. That is where we have to drop that variable. We may drop that variable. But in that case, as I told you in the yesterday session also, we must make sure that in the beginning itself, we are keeping 5-6 variables in the process. Because if we are having only 3 or 2 variable measuring a construct, then dropping 1 or 2, from that will be a very, very tedious task. So at least 3 questions should be left in the model. There's nothing like thumb rule of this, but ideally, there should be at least 3 variables measuring a construct even in a model. So that looks very weird that you're measuring one construct by asking single question or 2 questions. That is not a good, face validity will be question of that particular model itself. So it offers you that thing. So this is one part of it. Second thing is, once you will go with that, STMT analysis is also there. You can refer to that particular output also. Now, if we want to measure the validity part, so if I want to see the validity part, so what we can do, we can quickly just show you how we did that. So this is the part of the thing. The moment you click on that plugin of, you just see that how we did that. So we went to the AMOS thing here. Quick restart, still can solve this issue, but as of now, I'm just showing you on this analysis that we have done. So this is the thing, and you go to the plugins here, and in plugins, you will click on the model fit measures. And once you click on the model fit measures, you'll see all this data. So this offers you the entire, details about the fit test. So if all the, interpretations are coming here, excellent, because this was a perfect exploratory factor analysis output. So that way you will get this kind of output and you can make interpretations from majority of the values. So you must know what is the CMIN, degree of freedom, and then how that value works here. So all these things are mentioned here. So the model fitness indices in a summary cell are there. Even they are providing you the citations for the cutoff indices and even the tool. If you wish to say that you have used this AMOS plugin and you want to cite it in your paper, you can cite it with the help of this citation. Yeah, we have HTMT ratio citations as well. We do have that HTMT citation as well. So idea is, I hope you got that idea that how do we actually go ahead in this plugin kind of thing. So we can draw the diagram, we can draw the covariances, we can reshape the observed variable, we can see the model fitness, we can do a lot of the things like that. So these plugins makes analysis far easier, as compared to the normal thing. If you're getting this output like straight away, you can copy and paste and put it in your analysis or your paper. This is going to serve your purpose. So you can customize the interpretation definitely for your things. Validity concerns you won't represent like that in your paper, but yeah, it serves the basic purpose. It provides you the table. You can take these screenshots and paste it in your paper, citing that particular plugin specifically like that. So this is how that works. Now let us move to the first of all, let us do the mediation, and then we'll talk about the moderation part. So for mediation, we'll be, going with a new template here. Let me just use a wider interface for that thing. I'm going with the landscape model, which offers me larger space to draw. And let me add the day one file that we were working on, the mediation analysis here. So let us say we were working, I shared a different file. So I'll use that particular file. So let us use the file name. And I've shared this file, if you will notice in your WhatsApp group, this had been shared yesterday by ma'am in the WhatsApp group. So direct and indirect effects, this file is there. So you can open this file and you can just click OK. So here we have 5 variables data, I guess. So let me just open it. we have this data set here. So we have ID1, that is independent variable 1, independent variable 2, independent variable 3. Then we have DV1 and DV2. So these are the values that we can have in this data. Now, if I wish to, model them and do a kind of mediation analysis. So how will we doing that? I'll draw a model here, and I'll be doing it on the, observed construct right now. Later on, you can explore it with the latent variable as well. So as of now, I'm doing it with the help of only observed construct, just to make you the concept, make you understand the concept. So here, I'll just draw the observed variable, as I said. So I'll just draw a box like that. I'll make few copies of it. Initially, let me say I'll just be using 4 variables in the first part of the explanation that I'm giving to you. We are making a model like that. Right. So you can put anything anywhere. That is your call, which way you want to see that. Right. So we have one model placed like that. I'm just randomly placing things like that. So let me put, IV1 in the the top box here. I'm putting IV2 in the second box here. Let me say DV1 is the first layer dependent variable and DV2 is the second layer dependent variable. So it can be anything like that. Now you want to check some, mediation effect. You want to see and analyze the mediation effect here. So what you will do, you will click here and you will draw the arrows to this, to this. So ideally, we believe that these 2 variables are leading to the dependent variable and the dependent variable leads to the DV2. But these variables are also having a kind of direct relationship with this, DV2. So there's a direct effect and there's a mediating effect as well. So we are placing that way, and I'll just try and fix this arrow signs slightly better. So now it looks better. This is overlapping, so I can quickly move this slightly here. So this looks better. You can place things as per your wisdom. So, and again, you can slightly retouch it. So this is how the diagram is looking. Okay. So what we are measuring here, we are trying to measure here the direct effect of IV1 on DV2. So we say that IV1 is leading directly to DV2, 1. We are saying that IV2 is also leading directly to DV2, but there's, there's a mediating variable as well, that DV1. So we know that IV1 has a direct bearing on DV1 and IV2 has a direct bearing on DV1, and then DV1 leads to the DV2. So there's an indirect path that we want to measure. So what we will do, we have done that thing, model has been drawn. So quickly we will go to the, first of all, we have to save this file somewhere so that we can run. So I'll save it with some random name here. And let us click on the analysis properties, what we want to achieve. So my data has nothing like missing here in this data. So I will not check here. If you have something missing data, you should check here in estimate means and intercept. Click on the output. You want to see the standardized estimates. You want to see the squared multiple correlation. In regression, you wish to see that. And then you will click on the direct indirect effect also. That is very important part to see, right? You want to see that. So that is what you want to see. I'm just doing one thing here. I'm just selecting some modification indices here also so that I can explain you one thing later. So this is also I'm selecting and just clicking close it, and then I run that analysis. I've not connected the IV1 with IV2. So, and I've not added any endogenous error term to these, endogenous variable. So that is, these are the 2 issues reported by the thing. So I'll do that. So let me just say that, okay, IV2 is somehow having some relation with the thing. And I want to add an error term here to DV1. And I wish to add some error term to DV2 as well. And I want to rename that. So I will use a plugin here. I'll rerun the plugin and I'll say name unobserved variable. So it will understand by default that we are talking about error term labeling, and it does that naming automatically. There's no fun doing that. So we have done it. Let me bring this error term closer to the, DV2. So I think now we are good to go. And let us try to run the analysis, quickly running the analysis. Okay, we have some missing data. Again, that license issues here. So I have to restart the system once. So for that thing, what I'll do, I'll connect with my tablet for the while so that I can explain you the things. And then meanwhile, this will get connected. So give me a minute. I'm just joining with my tablet. Then I'll restart the system and then we'll discuss that thing. Just give me a second. So meanwhile, I'll be logging in again with that system and kindly bear with me for that time. So what we will be doing with this, moderation analysis and mediation analysis, I'll just explain you the concept in between for that time. So what happens in the mediation analysis, what we'll be capturing in the output here, we'll be able to capture the direct effect and the indirect effect. So the AMOS output will
Sir,
tell us
you are not
whether
audible. Sorry.
is
Ankit
having
sir.
certain significant direct effect or indirect
Ankit
effect
sir,
or not.
can you hear me?
So that will be one thing. Another thing, in the
I
moderation
am
analysis,
audible
what
to
we
you.
do in moderation analysis, we'll be going with, the a variable which is actually
Ankit sir, sir, sorry to disturb. You're not audible for us, sir. Sir, you're not audible for us, sir.
Okay, so I've joined again with my laptop. I guess now I'm audible clearly to everyone. Thank you, sir. Yeah. Ma'am, I will need that suggestion. That's getting that in. So meanwhile, yeah, thank you so much. Quick and prompt. So what I was explaining you meanwhile that I was discussing about those things. So what I was saying that in mediation analysis we get that direct and indirect effect measurement and whether that is significant or not. But in moderation analysis things will be slightly on a very different side, because in moderation analysis what happens, we say that okay, there are 5 variables like that, and one variable is playing a moderating role here. So when we say moderating role in one particular analysis, so we normally use the interaction effect over there. So we will try to see that thing. So while now the system is working, let me see if that allows me to work today also or not. So let us we have done this analysis, we have saved this somewhere, so yeah, it is saved. So let us see the analysis properties, whether they work or not. Calculate estimates and estimates. I'm just checking here for the precaution, and I want to measure these 3 things. And I also selected modification indices, so I'm just selecting that as well. And then running this analysis. I've not saved that particular part, which we added the error term here. So I'll just quickly add the error term. So error term is added. Let us add the covariance term here as well. So that is being done, and quickly we name the unobserved variable. Save this thing and then run the analysis. So this works well. That is the only step. This works well, and the output has been achieved. So let us quickly go to the output file here. So the moment you reach to the output file, you'll see this kind of data, and I'll explain you what we have achieved in this data. I will use that. I will tell you, Diksha, I've technically taken that thing for one understanding. Modification indices deliberately I've taken. I'll explain you that part. So as of now, let us say that, okay, the output has been achieved and model run. Some system restart bug is there either in my AMOS plugin some way. So that is creating a trouble. Earlier it was not there. Something has happened yesterday itself. So maybe some minor issue, but it is working. After a restart, it works. So we will go to the, first of all, estimates here. So just quickly see the estimates here. And first thing that you need to see, okay, the regression weights we are able to find. And let me read these regression weights for you. The IV1 is leading to DV1. IV1 is defining DV1. And this has the p-value of 0.604. So it's not a significant relationship. So IV1 has no significant bearing on IV1 is not having a significant predicting power for DV1. Why I'm saying this? Because the p-value is more than 0.05. The null hypothesis is being rejected here. Similarly, if you check IV2, IV2 is leading to DV1, the first part of the model. Let us I'll just minimize this table like that, and you will be able to see the diagram as well as the table together. Yeah, that works well. Just a minute, guys. Yeah. So if you see, I'll be just explaining both the things together here. So the first part of the model that we see here, that we are talking about, that IV1 and IV2 are leading to the model here. So are they significant? So in this part of the model that is visible to you, IV1 is leading to DV1, but that relationship is not significant. The value is more than 0.05. IV2 is leading to DV1. With this relationship is significant because value is less than 0.05. It is 0.000. And then DV1 is leading to DV2. This is the, this part of the line. So DV1 is leading to DV2, as the arrow is suggesting you. And this relationship is also not significant. So this is the, total 5 relationships that are being studied, and out of which 2 are not significant. So we need to revisit and understand, why it is happening so. And then IV1 to DV2. IV1 to DV2, that was this variable leading directly to DV2. It has a significant relationship because value is less than 0.05. At 5% say level of significance, it is significant. If you take 1% alpha, it will not be significant. IV2 DV2 is also having a significant relationship. So these IV1 and IV2 are having a significant, predicting power for DV2. This is what regression weights are telling you. And these are these are things. So if you wish to see their means and other things, you can see the important part you will understand here. The covariances and other things that we have captured in the model are there. The important thing that we want to discuss here is this total effect. What is the total effect? The DV1 is deriving total effect of 0.388 from IV2 maximum, 0.004 from IV1, very negligible, and 0.00 is from DV1. If you're not able to make interpretation from this, you can just quickly click here. So the moment you click here, you will be getting the explanation part also. So this tells you that when IV2 goes up by 1, the DV1 goes up by 0.388. And that's why I said it has a very, significant, loading on that particular variable. So this is the total effect that has been captured. So in total effect, what we are seeing that DV1 is deriving maximum of its, effect from the IV2. And when you talk about DV2 is positively, it is 0.489. So when IV2 goes up by 1 unit, the DV2 goes up by 0.489, approximately 50% of that value. Here we had 0.388 negative, so it was negative. So when IV2 was going up by 1 unit, the DV1 was going down by 0.388. So there is a negative relationship. So paths, the total effect you are able to measure and capture here. So IV2 seems to be a decent, having a decent effect on the DV, or both the DVs effectively. So DV1 as well as DV2, IV2 is having more driving power as compared to if you compare it with DV1. And DV1, has nothing. Obviously, DV1 will have nothing to do with the DV1 itself, but DV1 has a lower, value associated with DV2. That's what, the p-value was also found to be not significant. So I hope you're getting this explanation that how we are capturing the regression weights and then how we are analyzing their total effect. But we have also selected the, direct effect here. We have also selected the indirect effect here. So sometime, we want to see direct effect is like when you can understand this part here. So IV1 is leading to directly DV2. This is what we are calling direct effect. And IV1 via DV1 leading to DV2 is an indirect effect. And then total effect is a combination of these two effects put together. So this is where the mediation analysis output is here, and you can make quick things from this output. So I hope it is clear to everyone. And if you see the indirect effect here, so even DV2 has a very low indirect effect coming from the via DV1, and I hope you got the logic also, because DV1 itself has nothing to do with the DV2. So that mediation is not making any effective sense here. So that values are very, very low. So we can say that it is not turning out to be a significant mediating effect here. So this is the mediation analysis. You can explore the technicalities further, but in quick time I could give you the basic exploration of this topic. Second thing, the last thing in fact for the day that I want to cover is the moderation analysis. So I wish to cover that moderation analysis. One question that popped up was about the modification indices. What is the use of the modification indices? We don't have in this model, we don't have the values here. Let me just quickly show you. Let us use one new fresh model and hope that plugins keep working. And I'm just specifying a data to continue. I'll show you the use of the modification indices, which is very important actually. So we'll just quickly do that with one data set. So I'll do it with the help of CFA2 again, which was perfect factor analysis. Okay. So in this case, we have added the data now going with, I have to open the data once to draw that rotated matrix quickly. So this data is there in this folder. So I'll reach to that folder, quickly draw this. And then after that, I'll quickly explain you the moderation analysis too. And then tomorrow onwards, we'll be moving to the econometrics part, which is actually my area. So that is the time series kind of analysis and other things that we will work on the econometrics thing. So that is more related to the people hailing from commerce background. Someone was very keen to learn those things. So that we'll be doing in that thing. So quickly, let us repeat that thing that we have already done here. So rotation, as we are taking a rotation, and then we are suppressing the smaller coefficients with 0.4. So I guess you must have remembered these steps by now. So we have the output here. So let's quickly copy this. And once we copy and go back to the plugins here, I'll click on the pattern matrix model builder. This allows me to paste the thing here. So we'll create diagram. It creates the diagram. It gives some issues which I ignored, I guess. Yeah. So this is the thing. And let me just quickly show you if I want to do some modification indices over here and standardized weights and other things like that. And let me just, yeah, it is fine. Save it somewhere and run the analysis. And I have to just did a mistake by naming that variable as E1. So this is E16 and then E17. Because we have a variable named with E1, E2, E3, that's why this error message comes up. So we are done with it and let's run the analysis. We could run the analysis and let me explain you the concept of the modification indices and then we'll talk about the moderation analysis. So here the text output is visible. This is the output that we have received. One important thing that we achieve with the help of modification indices is this. In modification indices, you'll be getting the modification indices for the covariances. And when you're talking about confirmatory factor analysis, please refer to this only. When you want to work on the structure equation model, then you look at the modification indices of regression weights. But as of now, because you are working on the CFA, so you should look at the modification indices of the covariances. And where the covariances are, high, if they are high, in this case, they'll not be very high because this was a perfectly balanced factor analysis data. So we don't see that happening. But sometimes, what happens when your model fitness values are not coming good. So you normally look at the, how to covariate the error terms if you wish to, or which variable should be dropped. So on that parameter, this may be handy. So the values with, higher modification indices, if we say that, okay, E8 is aligning with the E3, so and let's say E3 and E8 are coming from the same variable, then we can put a covariance, term there. That is one advantage of this analysis. I've shared one video on that of James Gaskin, so you can refer to that model fitness values upgradation. How do we do? So I've shared that video yesterday also. One more thing that you can see here that you click on the estimates and click on the scalars and click on the sorry. This is the thing that we are getting right now. So we'll quickly just run on that this modification indices. We may be using the regression coefficients also to improve that thing. Diksha, yes, for CFA we'll be using modification indices of covariances, and where the covariances modification indices are very high, and if these error terms are hailing from the same construct, then we can covariate them. And then your modification indices, your fitness indices will improve. That is what the logic is. So there's a video shared on that group for that learning. So you can refer to that video and you will understand, how we can keep playing and dropping variables and making model fitness achieved. Sometimes, what happens, you have collected the data of 450, 460 and 600 respondents, and then your model fitness is not being achieved. So then to recollect the data and then in that case, dropping few variables and making your model fit, telling that these variables were not fitting and these variables have been dropped from the original scale, make more sense. So that is where we can do that. Now let us quickly talk about the moderation analysis. Let me use this data only. I'll be using this data only, and I'll be doing a moderation analysis here. So let us understand how does moderation analysis works. For that, we need to work in the SPSS file also. So let me say we have A1, A2, A3 variables, we have B1, B2, B3 variables, and they are capturing their respective construct like that. So what we need to do, first of all, we need to calculate the construct values in general. We don't do the moderation analysis on, individual independent, these individual, variables, which make no sense. So we have to do that analysis mostly on the constructs that we will draw. So what we will do, we will compute a variable here. So this is the thing that you will be required to do on the SPSS, or you can do it in even an Excel file also. You can do that, but you will be required to work on the some kind of you'll be required to work on measuring these target variables that you want to capture. So let me tell you that we want to capture the A value with the help of A1, A2, A3. So what we will do, we can type here even average kind of thing function will work, but I'm just keeping it simple for beginners. So I'll just press A1 plus A2 plus A3, and I'll just divide it by 3. So what we are doing, we are averaging the responses that we have got on individual variable to get the construct value. So if I said, do you like A1, do you like A2, do you like A3, and people are rating their scores, and someone is saying 555, so his overall rating is 5. And if someone is saying 543, then his average rating is 4. And if someone is saying 531, the average rating is 3. So that's what we are doing. We are averaging the responses received for a person, on 3 different aspect, which is measuring of one particular construct. So we are taking average scores of that. Some people do the summation also. That can be okay. In this kind of setup, it is okay because we have equal, number of variables in each construct, which is a reality. So that way it can be done. So I'm just clicking here. So it will create one construct like that. You can keep doing this for all the constructs like that. So let me quickly calculate B. And there's no point, worrying about dragging values from there. It can fetch, even if you change the name, and it will understand B1, B2, B3, and I need to add it together and divide it by 3. So that is done for B. And if you see here in the output, it is telling you that what is being executed here. So you can keep doing this for all the, constructs that you have in your data. I'll be not wasting time. I'll just keep this thing up to 3 variables that I'll be using for my analysis. So I've done it for A, B, C. You can do it for all the constructs in your data set. Now, what it is doing actually, we are able to see the output file here. Let me just go to the data set of the SPSS and go to the, variable view. So you will see that new, ABC variables have been created. And if you reach to the data file at the last, you will see that, these newly calculated values are there. So we have got, A's average score, B's average score, and C's average score. For each respondent, every row is representing a respondent here. Now my moderation analysis, is telling me that I need to save this file first of all. I will save this file and I may close it right now. I have done the analysis, I've calculated the construct values, and I'll close this file for now. And I'll move to the, one more thing will be needed. I can't close it right now. I need to work a few more things here. So what I want to measure right now, that I want to measure that C is depending on A and B. And I want to see that I want to calculate C is depending on A. And I want to see what is the moderating effect of B on it. So ABC, you can name anything depending on your research problem. So C is depending on A and B is moderating that, equation. So I want to check whether this, analysis that I want to run here, what is the impact of B in that relationship. C is the dependent variable, A is the independent variable, B is the moderating variable. Now, one thing that we need to do here is that we need to calculate the interaction term. Now, interaction term can be calculated either simply multiplying, A into B. So some of the, people I've seen doing that. So they will again go to the transform, go to the compute variable, and what they do normally without mean centering, if you perform the moderation effect analysis, answers don't vary. I practically tried and worked on the data sets. So answers normally don't vary unless and until scales are too different. So mean centering, I'll tell you how to do the mean centering also. That mean centering can be done. I'll do that mean centering as well. right now I'm telling you how do we calculate interaction term. So let me say that C is depending on A and B is a moderating variable. So I want to calculate an interaction of A and B. So the interaction of A into B. So obviously interaction of A into B is nothing. It is, the value that we have calculated for A multiplied by the value of B. So simply multiplying these two values is called the interaction term. Okay, this has to be like that. So A into B I have calculated, and if you will see that A into B is now added to my number, and this is nothing. It is 7 into 2.33 is the interaction term of A into B. But here we have not considered the centering, mean centering of the data. So if you wish to do the mean centering, which is very much needed if the data is hailing from different scale and you want to somehow standardize your moderation analysis for that purpose. So you have to see that how you can do the mean centering. So for mean centering, you first of all, you need to know the means of the numbers. So what you will do, we'll quickly go on the analyze descriptive statistics. You'll go to the descriptives, and on descriptives, you will select only two variables which you want to do mean centering for, A and B. Sorry, not on descriptives. Analyze descriptive statistics and go to frequencies. And you just select the two variable for which you want to create interaction term. Go to the statistics, and I'm just interested in right now mean values. So I'll just click on the mean. I don't want any frequency tables, so I'll just click here. So I got to know that mean of A is 6.13 and mean of B is 2.73. So I'll just remember that thing. I can come back to this screen. So what I'll do now, I'll be doing mean centering. If you don't want to go into the mean centering, if you just want to run the interaction term of the construct it straight away, you can do that. There's no harm in doing that. So as of now, what I do, I'll be doing mean centering in a while. First of all, let me explain you this moderation effect with the help of without mean centering interaction term. So as of now, I hope what we have done, you must have understood by now that we calculated construct values for individual constructs. If you don't have SPSS, do not worry. We have we can calculate average of A1, A2, A3 in the Excel file also. And we can do measure calculate of the average of B1, B2, B3, and then revert it like that. So this is how we can do it. And in fact, A and to B, calculation can also be done in that Excel file also. So it's not necessary to be having SPSS for that purpose. The average can be seen in the Excel file. So everything is doable on the Excel. We are not doing anything, beyond the Excel's purview here. So we are done with this thing as of now. I'll be explaining you the concept of mean centering and then mean centered interaction term. As of now, I'll just save it here. I just save this file. I'm not closing it. I'm keeping it open. I'm not closing the output file also. Let me draw a new diagram here because we are working on a different thing now. So I'm just opening a new diagram. Let it be lost. And what we want to do, we want to draw a very simple thing. We want to see a simple regression here where we are talking about A is leading to B. Sorry, yeah, A is leading to C. C is depending on A, and we are also seeing their interaction effect. So let me just add one more variable here. So these, let me say that all of them are leading to somehow the dependent variable. So what I'll do, I'll quickly get the file in this data. So the file that I want to get is the CFA2 file, which I have saved. You must ensure that you have saved the file because then only you'll get the desired number. So you just need to check, yeah, ABC and A into B is there. So we will draw A here, we'll draw B here, we'll draw A into B also here, and then we'll draw C as a dependent variable. So in moderation analysis, this is how we normally proceed. We normally take dependent variable, we take the independent variable, we also take the moderating variable. There are different ways of doing that, but this is the simplest way of doing the moderation analysis using the interaction term that I'm explaining to you. So then if you wish to make it look slightly better, you can use this option here. And let us go on the analysis properties. And on analysis properties, we are looking for, the output, and we are looking for first three things. So when you do some kind of regression work, this is what you need. And let us save this file somewhere. So I've just saved this file with some random name and run the analysis. I've not queried that, but that is okay. Let us move on with that. Okay. So let me see what output we get here. Let me just quickly see what output. There was some error in this. Let us query them and then see. We have not added the error term also. Let us add the error term also. And we run it now. Let me try and rerun it again. Let us call it E. We have a single variable here. And run the analysis. We could run the analysis somewhere. This was coming in the path of that thing. And let us see the output here. So what is important here in the moderation analysis? We got the output. So let us open the output here. This is the output file. And what normally we see that in this estimates, the important thing that you will actually make your interpretation for, that this regression rates, when A into B is being considered, leading towards C, A has nothing to do with actually, C here, because the p-value is very high. So it is way high than 0.74. So the this dependency is not significant. C is not depending on A. C is even not depending on B, the moderating variable, and C is not even depending on the interaction of the independent variable and the moderating variable. So that is where you can make a comment that this moderation analysis makes no sense. And because in fact, the independent variable that we have taken into our framework is even not significant. And the interaction of this moderating variable along with that independent variable is also not giving us any significant impact. Somewhere, please understand, if this value comes less than 0.05, then you will say that it is playing an effective role of the moderating variable. So this is one thing that you can remember. One thing that I was telling you about the mean centering in the SPSS kind of thing. So what you can do, you can calculate the mean centered values here. However, this analysis is not making any sense from this data, which we did, but just to make you the understand process here, what you will do, you'll go to the transform and you'll compute a variable again. And in variable, you will calculate center A. This is centered value. So I'm calculating center A, and center value, will be calculated with the help of A minus the average of A. So average of A, we remember, was around A average is 6.13. So I'll just take that number. So A minus 6.13. So what it does, it will subtract all the values of calculation that we have done, 6.13. All the A's values, will be subtracted with the average value. So this will bring the deviation from the, mean, x minus x bar, that dx value we will calculate here. So obviously the total of sum of average of this number will be 0, because this will be total of this value will be 0. We have calculated centered A value. Similarly, we can calculate centered B value. So we'll calculate centered B value. So for that, we'll subtract B's average from B. So that average is, I guess, 2.73. So I'm just doing that straight away, 2.73. Yeah, it was 2.73. So we calculated centered average. Now what you can do, you can create the interaction effect, the moderation thing that you want to see. you want to create center A multiplied by center B. So centered value of A and centered value of B, we are creating that interaction. And for that, you will take center A value multiplying with center B value. So these are the mean centered values that we are creating the interaction term with. So we got this term here. We'll save this file. We'll save this file and no, not the output. We need to save the input file that we were working on because we have got a few more variables here. Now you go back to your AMOS part here and you just reselect the data once because we have changed the data file. So we want that updated with file. So we'll just reselect the data, rerun it, and then you will click on the same analysis that you want to repeat. It will be done and you can quickly go to the view text and this output will emerge. And this time when you will see, oh, I need to change, I didn't change the centered variable, I'm sorry. So I would have, I have to change, I'll not change A and B, remember. I'll just change this, A, B, with the centered A into centered B. So this is the mean centered A values multiplying with mean centered B value. So this is what we have done in the mean centering. Mean centering, what it does, you individually subtract mean value from the construct value that has been calculated for individual responses, and then you multiply them together. So this is centered A into centered B that you will take. Other values will be taken as same, and you can close it and then run the analysis. And you can see the output file here. And again, you will see the estimates, things like that. And again, because the values are not making, regression rates are not significant here, as we could see that earlier. And the interaction effect itself, is having a p-value very high. So this way, the moderating effect, can be captured. So this is one of the easiest way of capturing the moderating effect. So I hope that serves the query that I was asked by the respondent there. So we are done with most of the things in the AMOS. There's a lot to learn, I know. And in 4 hours, it's difficult to capture everything in the, available in the system. So I've tried to give you a broad understanding of the basic, of the AMOS, how to draw the diagrams, how to use the plugins, how to run this confirmatory factor analysis, how to see the reliability and validity measures, how to use that model fit measures and other things. Today, we also discussed about the mediation and the moderation analysis. So if you have any query in next 2, 3, 5 minutes, we can take up those queries, and tomorrow we'll move on to the econometrics with eViews software. Thank you, Satish sir. Thank you so much. I hope you got your answer, the one who was asking for the moderation analysis, on day 1. There are various ways, and let me tell you, there are various further ways of doing that. This was the easiest way to start doing the moderation analysis. That's what I've told. You can go with the interaction term without centering the mean values, or if you wish to center the mean values, you can center the mean values and then apply that interaction term and see the moderating effect of the variable.
Excuse me, sir. I joined a little late. I just want to know whether we have covered mediator also.
Yeah, I've covered the mediating analysis just before the moderation part. We discovered that thing. So it has been done.
Thank you, sir.
Uh,
We'll go through record.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Satish, sir, yes, we'll cover that part in panel data regression. We'll try to cover that moderation part. Initially, in the eView session, we'll start with the basics of stationality, how to establish a stationality, what is the implication of a stationality, and then, the time series analysis has different flavors. So that is altogether a different thing. So we'll be working on some practical data sets of Indian capital market will take, and we'll share that data set. So that will be the thing. Yeah, Diksha, that is pending. I've shared the books and other things. The reference papers I will share by today. SEM requires the normality. Actually, SEM requires, someone is asking for the normality. So SEM requires the normality thing. So we actually need the normality part here. So in the analysis properties, if you go here and you see there's an option to check normality and outliers. So you can check on that, click on that. This is not the perfect set up right now to do that, but let me just see the output here. So this will tell you the normality numbers also. So whatever you check there, you get that answer here for. So when you click on the estimates, so sorry, we will get this somewhere in this. The assessment of normality. There's light coming on my face. This is very smallly written. So this is the assessment of normality. So this multivariate normality can also be captured with the help of that option. So you can capture the multivariate normality and make comment on it. Jamovi is a very, as I've used, I'm not much used actually that software, but it is in the development phase right now. So I've not much used. R has different packages, sir. So, R is having packages for every kind of setup and every problem. So in general, when you're trying to develop a structural equation model, the advantage of AMOS over any other software is that because it takes that normality constraint into the equation, and the normal data is more generalizable. So that is what the advantage of AMOS is there. So I guess all the queries in the chat box I have responded. Diksha, I've noted down your concern. The research papers which have used AMOS, that we will definitely share by tonight.
Sir, one question.
Yes.
Is it possible that Jamovi file can be run on AMOS?
I have not tried it. I have not tried it actually. I've downloaded the Jamovi a few days back only. So I have not tried that doing that. So today I'll see if that is possible. Then I'll tell you that.
Because the features are almost same. Whatever we are doing in SPSS, everything is.
It is very similar. It is the interface has been very similar.
Yes.
Yeah.
So is it possible? That's why I asked you.
I will check that. You can also check.
Yeah,
I'll also do that. So we'll discuss that thing tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Partial least square and CBSEM are actually some very different partial PLS. Smart PLS software is there. So smart PLS is very user friendly, very easy. It is far easier than what we see in the AMOS. AMOS is very technical and practical. Actually, what happens when you start using a smart PLS, you find AMOS very difficult. Let me tell you that. So we used to work on the AMOS earlier. Then we started working on smart PLS. That's why that fluency, is not that great on AMOS nowadays, because PLS has simplified, and the model framing and the analysis is so easy over there. But the partial least square, suffers from various limitations. It does not require your data to be normally distributed. So you can put any small sample data also, you can run anything like that, and it will give you some kind of output there. So it is meant for the academic things, but the generalization has an issue over there. So that is where CBSEM is considered to be better, because this takes into the consideration of normality things, and that is why CBSEM is better if you want to publish in good quality journal papers. And they validate. They are now nowadays, normally they are rejecting something that is on the PLS. So we got rejections on 3-4 papers in that thing recently. The AMOS was accepted in the same journal. So that is one quick learning for me, that we need to work on AMOS more if you want to publish in high-end journals. So I guess all the queries are answered for the day. So let's wind up the session for the day. I have stretched again 20 minutes for the day. Tomorrow we'll start the e-views. Can this
to coordinator, I hope you will be sharing today's plan recording.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
R data file, again, I have not worked, Shubhangi. So this R and Jamovi, I'll check today whether we can fetch data that way. But in normally, R also requires data to be annexed. So we normally attach data file, in the format of Excel to the R, because R is a language, R has nothing to do with the data entry kind of thing. So R also requires data to be attached some way. So that will not be required, but Jamovi I can try for the day, and then I'll tell you that thing tomorrow. Thank you so much.
So I think participants, there is no any questions from your end. So thank you, sir, for sharing your knowledge with us today. So directly I'll be moving for the vote of thanks. So it's like we came to an end of the 4th day of the FDP session. So I extend a warm thank for Dr. Saxena, sir, for sharing with us with your wonderful knowledge, the e-modeling and AMOS and e-views with us. So I extend my gratitude to all the participants for their presence and engagement in the sessions. Wishing each one of you for a wonderful day ahead. So I think we will be continuing with our 5th day of session by tomorrow as usual time. So participants, you can join 5th day of session tomorrow by 5 minutes early to the session. So I think we can end this session. Thank you, sir. And thank you all the dear participants from various institutions. Thank you, sir.